Welcome to The Explainer. Most of us spend all our time figuring out what stock to buy. But what if I told you the real secret of the pros isn't the what, but the how much? Today, we're diving into exactly that, the advanced art of position sizing. This is the stuff that really separates the pros from the rest of us.
All right, let me ask you something and be honest. When you find a new stock idea you love, how much do you put in? Is it always the same amount? Maybe a flat 5% of your portfolio every single time? It's super common. A lot of people do it. But what if that's the one thing that's actually holding you back from real gain?
Yeah, because the pros, they just don't do that. Think about it like a poker game, right? You get dealt a pair of twos. Are you going to bet the same amount as when you're holding a full house? No way. Well, investing is exactly the same. The real skill is learning to tell the difference between a pretty good hand and an absolute monster. So this brings us to the big problem with that one-size-fits-all approach. It's really simple when you think about it. It treats every single investment opportunity like it's exactly the same. Same potential, same risk. But we know that's not true, right? In the real world of investing, one size fits, well, it fits none. You just can't treat every idea equally if you're serious about your returns. And the source material for this explainer puts it perfectly. It says, traditional position sizing treats all trades equally, but professional traders know that a volatility contraction pattern with a massive volume surge deserves a different allocation. I mean, that's the whole ballgame right there. A really strong chart pattern, backed by a huge wave of buying, that's just a different beast than some weak, sloppy setup. And learning to spot that difference, it's everything. Okay, so how do they actually do it? What's the secret? Well, here it is. Pros tie their position size directly to the quality of the investment setup. And one of their go-to tools for grading that quality is a specific chart pattern called the VCP. So what the heck is a VCP? It stands for Volatility Contraction Pattern. All it means is you see a stock's price swings getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Imagine a spring coiling up, getting ready to pop. That's a VCP. It's a huge signal that all the sellers are gone and the stock could be getting ready for a massive move up. It's not just a gut feeling. It's a way to objectively measure how healthy a setup actually is. And this right here, this is basically the pros playbook. They're not guessing. They're grading the pattern. You see a really high-quality VCP, maybe with 3 or 4 super tight contractions and huge volume, bam, that could get 1.5 or even 2 times your normal investment size. A pretty standard setup? Okay, that gets your standard one-time allocation. But a weak, kind of sloppy pattern? They'll either cut the size way down, or more likely, they just skip it altogether. No reason to play a weak hand.
All right, but just having a great-looking chart pattern isn't quite enough. You need confirmation. You need proof. And in the market, the ultimate truth serum is volume. Big, huge, undeniable volume. Why? Because that tells you the big guys, the institutions, the hedge funds, the ones with the real money, are buying right alongside you. That, my friends, is the ultimate green light.
And that's exactly why the pros almost never go all in at once. They scale into a position. It's a 3-step process. First, they dip a toe in the water. They'll start with a small tester position, maybe 25 to 40% on the initial breakout. Then, and this is the key part, they wait. If they see that massive volume for the next couple of days, that's when they add more, say another 30 or 40%. Then, if the stock pulls back, holds that breakout level, and proves it's strong, they'll add the final piece. You see, you have to earn the right to have a full position. Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to look at a case study of a breakout in a stock called Indian Bank.
So on the very first day of the breakout, look at the volume. It's 4.2 times its normal average. That's strong. That's our signal for stage 1. Time to put on that initial, smaller position. We're just testing the waters here.
But then, check out day 2. Whoa! The volume just explodes to almost 7 times average. That is the institutional stamp of approval we were waiting for. That's the signal that the big money is pouring in. Now it's time to get aggressive, add to the position, and really press the bet. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds kind of aggressive, right? Betting big like this? Well, it's only half the story. The only reason this strategy works is because it's paired with a rock-solid, ironclad defense. It's all about risk management. This isn't gambling, not at all. It's a highly calculated discipline. See, the pros have rules that are set in stone. They're non-negotiable. For example, if a stock breaks out, but the volume is weak or fizzles out, they cut the position in half immediately. If the price breaks out and then falls right back into the old pattern, they're out. Done. No questions asked, no hoping it'll come back. And another big one, if the trade just goes sideways for a few weeks and does nothing, they sell. Capital has a job to do, and that job isn't sitting around doing nothing. So let's compare the two approaches, head to head. Here's a case study with Federal Bank. Now, look at this. The potential gain was basically the same, around 31 to 32% for both methods. So what's the big deal? Well, look at the confidence level. The all-in approach is basically a coin flip, a guess. But the pyramid approach, where you scale in, your confidence is sky high because you've confirmed the trend every step of the way. You're in control. You're not just hoping you got lucky on the entry. So when you boil it all down, the real secret here isn't some magic formula. It's about taking these ideas from theory and putting them into practice. It all comes down to discipline. It's about building a system and sticking to it day in and day out. And what does that discipline actually look like? It's a routine, a checklist. Before the market even opens, they're scanning for patterns, calculating their buying power. While the market is open, they're watching volume like a hawk and executing their scaling plans. And after the bell rings, they're not done. They're reviewing their trades, checking their overall portfolio risk, and planning for tomorrow. It's a non-stop process.
And that brings us to maybe the most important rule of all, and it comes straight from our source material. Skip marginal setups rather than reduce size. Let that sink in. The goal is not to trade every setup that looks kind of okay. The goal is to have the patience of a sniper, wait for those true A-plus opportunities, and then have the capital and the courage to act decisively. It's all about quality over quantity.
So, I'll leave you with one final question to think about. After everything we've talked about today, are you really sizing your bets based on quality and confirmation, or are you just taking a gamble? Being honest with yourself on that one question could completely change your results. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.